So there is quite a number of ways you can use Python to use astrosource, and there will be more as time goes on. One of the most straightforward ways, which involves no great setup on your behalf, in the sense that some of the ways that you can put Python on your computer involves you going and editing like text files or installing things. You're not really quite sure what's going on. The most straightforward way is to use an online Python tool. Now, there's one called Google Collaboratory, which we're not going to use, but is sort of more common than the one we are going to use, which is called Sagemaker Studio Lab. They're similar, but Sagemaker Studio Lab is a little bit higher level, a bit better suited to what we're going to do than Google Collaboratory. So if you use Google Collaboratory before, some of the bits will look similar. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. You don't need to. So the first thing we want to do is go to SageMaker. Well, just do rely on old Google to get you there. SageMaker Studio Lab. Now I'm in an incognito window, so you won't be able to see my login. But basically, in a sense, AWS, Amazon Web Services, is sort of still developing this, which I think is why you need to do this request free account business. But you press request free account, enter in all your stuff. You don't need a referral code, just press submit and request. Then you go to sleep. Hopefully within 24 hours you'll get a link back. It won't be instantaneous, although some people have said it was within 20 minutes. On average, it's within the next day. So once you've done that, you might as well pause this video, go out and kick a ball in the sun. But once you get the email back, then you can get started. So I just requested an account for an email, another email that I don't yet regularly use. So let's have a look. Here we are. I've got this email that went to my updates section of my email. Then it says verify your email. Click the button. Email was verified. We've added you to the waitlist. Once you're approved, we'll send you an email with the link to create your account. Okay, once you have got the email and signed up and made your account, then you can log in. So if we press sign in here, it should give you some questions about buckets, as you do. Once that's all over and done with, you get this screen here. So you get about 8 hours a day. I mean, it's free, so there is limits. And if you're sitting doing Python for more than 8 hours a day, it's maybe not so good. So 8 hours is pretty good. And if you log out, then the countdown stops. So if you're going out to have lunch or something, remember to turn off your SageMaker Lab. But 8 hours per day is a pretty good chunk of time. And astrosource doesn't take 8 hours, it takes less than a minute to run each time you run it. It takes a little moment for it to prepare the project runtime, which is code for saying I'm starting a computer up and connecting your account to it. Please wait while I get that ready. Compute type, you can compute on a normal computer or a GPU. So GPUs for AI stuff. We just do CPU stuff. There's also more CPUs available than GPUs. AI is like popular nowadays. So CPU is good. Open project. If you press open project and you know Google Collaboratory, some of the next screen will be familiar to you. It will open up into my account, which will look very noisy and have things everywhere, because I do lots of stuff. See? All these folders, what is all that? You won't have that. You'll just have pretty much a blank directory and something blank over here. So I'm going to close these. This is what you'll have. You have kind of a blank directory here, and that's about it. So what's happening here? So here, this is just like, say, Windows Explorer. That's all it is. Or Finder on a Mac. And whatever you use in Linux, for the rare few of you who use Linux. It's just a Windows Explorer for the computer that is up on the web. So it just acts like a folder. You can upload files here to it. Not that we're going to have to. You can refresh, make a folder. What even is that? Anyway, so there's a bunch of things. So we have this computer sitting on the cloud waiting for you to do stuff. And one day it'll be as messy as mine. On the right hand, you can open different things. Notebooks and consoles are just different ways of doing Python stuff. A terminal, if you're used to using a terminal, Mac users probably more familiar with it than Windows. You can open that up and it's just like a normal terminal. If you know what I'm doing, all good. If you don't, you don't, and it doesn't matter. I'm just showing you it's just like a normal terminal. We probably won't use it for RLRA astrosource stuff, but just to know it's there. Text file, markdown file. We can open PDFs. You find I like to call things googly splat things, and I'm just looking for a random name or something. We'll open a PDF. Yeah, here's some rather random graphs. But yeah, so you can open PDFs, and so it's like a little computer. But the main reason we're going to use it is to run astrosource and do some Python-y stuff, and maybe exotic. So if you are here, and it's the first time you've ever got your computer up and running, what we need to do is provide it some instructions so that we can be able to use it. I mean, realistically, you could jump in and start coding away with Python if you know what you're doing. But in Python, most of the time, you're using something someone else has already written. And so we want to bring those instructions in. So in fact, you want to bring in the instructions that I've written so that you can just go, do this, and then it does it. Now, there's this thing called Git, and then there's GitHub. GitHub is, I think it's owned by Microsoft, not that you'd ever find out. But basically all coders in the world mainly use GitHub. It's a good way of when you're writing code and you make a change, then you can save it to GitHub. And if you make a mistake and you want to go back 100 steps, or you want to go to the step 50 saves ago, you can go back there straight away. And it's just a cool way to distribute code to other people. So you don't need to really know what's going on. Aside from GitHub is a place where there is code. So just to pull up something famous. So Chromium. So Chromium is the code set upon which Microsoft Edge and Google Chrome are based. So all the code that runs this web browser I'm using, and you're probably using, unless you have a Mac with Safari, is here, and it's freely available. I have no hope of understanding it. It's just too complicated. But it's there if you wanted to actually go and make your own browser. So it's not just for small things like what we're doing. It has everything in the universe, aside from a couple of things or private things. Like you can't get Photoshop on GitHub. So anyway, here I have a very small set of instructions for ptrsagemaker. And so if we just copy this link, which will be in the course, and we come over here, there is a Git menu up the top of Amazon Sagemaker Studio Lab. See? And what we want to do is clone a Git repository, which is a sophisticated way of download Git repository. So we'll click it and we'll put this in here. Now, I already have it here, so I don't know what's going to do when I click clone. Yes, already exists. For yours, just say, yes, I want to download it. Now, once you've downloaded it through Git, it will be sitting out here, SageMaker, ptrsagemaker. Basically, it makes a folder, puts the instructions in it. And you're still here at SageMaker Studio Lab Notebooks. So this should just say that. If you're in this directory, if it dropped you there, just come back out to this directory by clicking there on the directory name. Okay, so now the next step, just to get it up and running, if you go to default Python, I don't actually know what the difference is between those two things, two options. Ooh. My screen has some odd formatting, but basically we've downloaded a list of instructions that we could use to play with our data and such. In this first, there's meant to be a little box here, which is probably my, yes, probably my dark mode little app. So let's pop that back up. Okay, now you can see that more clearly. So you've got a little box, and we go type from here, from ptrsagemaker, basically means from the ptrsagemaker, import ptrsagemaker. But what that's saying is from the ptrsagemaker directory, import the ptrsagemaker.py commands. It's not clear from that instruction that's what it means, but that's what it's doing. So import means it's importing it into this Python box we're using. And to run this, we hold down Shift and press Enter to run one of those boxes. Now when you run this for the first time, you will get a lot of text, and you'll wait, and you'll wait, and you'll wait. Oh, I'm getting some text too. If it updates stuff, all of this gobbledygook comes out. You'll know it's done by having a look here at the star. When that turns from a star to a number, it's finished, basically. What all this is doing is installing things that might not be available on your computer. And if something's updated since the last time you ran it, it will install things again. So be prepared, be alert, but not alarmed that there is a lot of text that's going to fly at you occasionally. So this changed to a number, which means it's completed. I mean, it also informs you that ptrsagemaker has loaded. Now, if this is the first time that you're running this, what I'd want you to do is to close this down, close the window, boink, do this, and do it again. Because the first time you run it, it installs a lot of new stuff. And you want to make sure that it's like turning it off and on. Have you tried turning it off and on? So we want to make sure everything's installed, everything's loaded, everything's good the first time you run it. So this is about the end of this video, how to get it up and running. And in the next videos, I will show you how to use it. Because depending on what you're doing, there's different directions we can go.